What is up, everybody? Skratch coming up with another Raid Shadow Legends video. We're back at it, no rest for the wicked. We are currently on the test server. We're gonna have a look at the brand new dungeon. We're gonna have a look at everything else that changed in the game. And man, I gotta say it to you, this is going to be a bit of a rant because I'm super unhappy with the dungeon, personally. And I'm pretty convinced that everyone else who actually tested this dungeon is unhappy with it, okay? It's bugged, it should not be released in the game in the current state because it's just not working good, okay? A lot of bugs with it, plus it's just made super extreme. The energy consumption ratio is just not worth it for the majority of the people, for the masses, and I feel like this is another form of dead content, similar with the Awakening, similar with the Iron Twins Fortress, similar with the Hydra release as well, because nobody really gave a damn about it. And yeah, I can do pretty much every stage. Probably 100 to 500 people, and that's being said with a positive thought, will be able to beat this dungeon. And the whole idea with it is that you require very specific champions in order to do it, and even like that, you require solid gear to be able to beat the higher stages. Now, firstly, let's quickly have a look at what am I talking about. The Sand Devil's Necropolis. That's the new dungeon right here, and you're getting all sorts of different oils for beating the stage, which will allow you to awaken your gear or ascend your gear. Now, the very first few potions, the small version of the potions that you're gonna get, will allow you to ascend the gear to 2 stars. The medium-sized potions will allow you to ascend your gear to 3 and 4 stars. The big potions will allow you to ascend your gear to 5 and 6 stars. Now, everything can be random, okay? Everything's RNG in terms of stats. I got lucky enough on this one that I just tested to get attack percentage on crit damage gloves, which is definitely nice. I need so many potions to ascend a piece of gear. You guys have no idea. So if you thought that ascending champions need a lot of potions, you're dead wrong, okay? I have 67 of the small ones, 44 of the big ones, but I need 60 of the medium ones, sorry, not big ones, 60 of the medium ones to take it to 4 stars. 60, okay? That's not gonna be an easy work, you know? Check this out again. So if we're gonna go right here, you're getting up to maximum of 9 per run on stage 25. And you need 60 of those for level 4. Then we're talking about the big potions for level 5 and level 6 to ascend them. Roughly, I would say you need a minimum of 600-700 energy per piece of gear in order to fully ascend it. And that's with good RNG. Because, hey, you can just get small potions and stuff like that, which is definitely not going to be as nice. Then, we've made one at level 1. So this one right here requires 80 of the small ones to get it to level 2. I cannot do it because I don't have enough. So we're actually going to go and just ascend a new one. You need 60 for the very first level. Let's see. At the top pieces, you can only get the flat stats. Defense, HP, and attack, if I'm not mistaken. On the bottom pieces, you can get everything, okay? So you can get crit damage on crit damage gloves. You can get speed on speed boots, which is gonna be amazing. That's gonna be the new gold roll that everybody will kind of like follow. So just so you get an idea, we ascended this and we got bang, flat HP. Okay, decent. 204. The maximum is 1000. That's the equivalent of a 6-star glyph plus a 4-star glyph, if I'm not mistaken, or a 6-star glyph plus a 5-star glyph, both rolling maximum on your gear. Pretty nice to have it at extra stats. It will not affect anyone in the entire game except Platinum Arena people. I cannot recommend you guys to do this dungeon if you're not extremely endgame, because it's gonna be a waste of energy. You're not gonna be able to beat any of the high stages. If you're gonna beat stage 10, you're gonna be a lucky fella if you're not endgame. And it's just not worth it for you to waste all the energy in trying to get a few potions just to ascend your gear to 1 or 2 stars, because you're not really gonna see a massive benefit out of it. You know, I would probably suggest you go and farm Fire Knight, go and farm Spider, go and farm Dragon and improve all your gear around on your account, man. Is a much better thing. That being said, let's have a quick look at the boss and what exactly we can actually do on this stage. So I'm gonna run this team right here. Max Stalker is actually the best sleep champion for the simple fact that he's on a 2-turn cooldown and is 100% sleep. For 2 turns if the target has no active buffs, okay? 2 turns, which is definitely much better than the rest of the champions that do it for 1 turn. Awesome, awesome stuff right here. Now, this will not work on the higher stages. You cannot do it for 2 turns anymore, only for 1 turn. But on these lower stages, we can do it. The boss has extreme stats. It's pretty hard to make him work. It's very buggy. We gave them a lot of feedback. And unfortunately, it's not happening. The main complaint that I have about it, guys, is that it will kill all your other dungeon teams. It will kill all your other dungeon champions because you cannot run War Master, you cannot run Giant Slayer, you cannot run the Phantom Touch Blessing either, because every time one of those things procs, you will actually decrease the counter on the boss. So Platinum decided that it's not enough just to make us use a lot of energy to improve our account. They said, you know what? Let's screw everyone up. Let's screw up all the other 200 bosses in the game and all their dungeon teams and Doom Tower bosses, etc. And just make this boss be special and different because War Master and the rest count as hits in here. And you know what they've told me? They don't count as hits, they count as extra damage. Why don't they count on the Fire Knight as well, where it's actually needed? Why is War Master and Giant Slayer not counting there? But it counts here. So enough with the rant. Enough with the rant. Let's have a look at the boss. I'm personally very disappointed that they released the content in the state, in this state, okay? Not very excited about it. So let's crack on it in here. We need somebody to decrease the turn meter. The highest speed on the boss on stage 25 is 275 speed, and you need around 600 accuracy. And yeah, if you thought that I'm nuts, I'm not, okay? I'm not just complaining here because I have nothing else better to do with my time. So you gotta land a lot of debuffs on the boss. The more debuffs, the more damage you're gonna get to do, and it's very important to have a lot of them, you know? It's pretty hard to do it. The heal that should be getting back on my champions, because I've just dealt damage, is none, okay? This is another thing that they need to adjust. It's buggy. My champions are not healing back. They said you're gonna heal back when the boss is asleep. It's just not happening, you know? And of course, you have a 10% enemy max HP cap, so it's gonna take quite a while to wreck them, you know? To wreck the boss. So we woken the boss up. Came in with a swarm with the damage right here. This one is actually a pretty nasty hit. It's pretty powerful, and yeah, you can increase the cooldown skills of this skill by 1 turn whenever a sleep debuff is placed. But the thing is, the boss needs a 1 turn cooldown on the sleep, okay? And probably once you activate it, once you're gonna be able to keep it controlled, you know. But the very first time it's gonna activate. You have no chance of stopping it. And there's no point to try and land the sleep. How I mentioned is a 1 turn cooldown, right? And my Geomancer, let's use this skill, is gonna hit 355 HP back. We're just not recovering the lost HP, unfortunately. No point to land sleep because he's on a 1 turn cooldown right now. So I gotta wait another turn in here. It's no point to revive Geomancer either just yet, because how I mentioned, I don't need to wait before putting the boss to sleep, and that will just not be beneficial whatsoever. Again, let him take another turn. They landed the debuffs. The debuffs themselves are not a big problem, you know. Definitely not a big problem. So now we're gonna be able to do this. Unfortunately, we haven't managed to make Geomancer go after him, but that's fine. We still have the chance to rotate another time in here. We're gonna go with the A1. Stagnite, if he can land some debuffs, would be great. Again, we lost a lot of HP. This should definitely not be decreased more than 50%. It's just too OP like this, you know? Definitely too OP. We got resisted on defense down. You see? We cannot heal with Geomancer anymore. And unfortunately, my Septimus didn't took his turn. Pretty annoying. But hey, we're gonna have to do it now. Slowly and surely just deal damage. We cannot use this again because it's a one-turn cooldown. How I mentioned, we can put this on cooldown later on. So it won't be such a big problem at the moment. The higher you go on stages, it's gonna get so much harder. Like, I'm gonna show you on stage 25 after, guys. It's definitely pretty nuts, you know? We can put the boss to sleep now, that's fine. We revive Geomancer, so we can do that again. Okay, let's get a bit of a heal on the rest of the champions. No heal back. You see, we're just not healing back, unfortunately. And Septimus. Boom. Bit of damage in there. I'm actually gonna put it on auto. You kind of like got the idea, guys. This is only stage 11. My champions are not built on a standard gear, okay? So I would say they have pretty solid builds for the level that they have right now in game. And I feel like a lot of people will struggle on stage 11 if they don't have the gear that I have. I'm gonna show you the total stats at the end so you guys can get an idea. But honestly, I feel like this is the most broken thing in Raid Shadow Legends, okay? Honestly, hands down. I feel like they've been lazy with releasing this content. They rushed it out to release it. Or if they didn't rush it out, they just didn't test it whatsoever. Kind of like typical stuff, you know? But there we go. 5 minutes 56. This is the team that we used on this stage. Stage 11, okay? Keep that in mind. Yes, with big boy champions, I'm gonna smash this stage. But once I'm gonna get to stage 25, everything is going to change. So I've only tried it a couple of times because I've done this today. I just didn't have the time to play it. I already knew that it's bugged, it doesn't work properly. I waited with my videos in the hope that they're gonna fix all the bugs on the test server, so we're gonna be able to show you the proper content, but unfortunately they haven't. So yeah, I haven't really bothered to do content on this. Now, let me just change a bit to the big boy champions, right? So check this out. We have the best options whatsoever. The whole idea here is that we have Acrisia, tons of damage. We have a Geomancer, and if you're gonna see the stats on this Geomancer, 276 speed, 584 accuracy, okay, for stage 25. And he's just gonna get wrecked. I don't even know why I'm actually using Geomancer. I have no idea why I'm using Geomancer. I shouldn't even use him, but yeah. It's just to deplete the turn meter. When he depletes the turn meter, he's gonna be dead meat after. I should use a different champion to deplete the turn meter, keep him on full HP, so he doesn't get one shot by the boss, and his passive won't really become relevant. But I don't want to sacrifice my Acrisia either. And the reason why I'm using Raiho is because she's gonna be the best champion in here, because of all the buffs that she brings with one skill, you know? I cannot use a Max Stalker because he's weak affinity. I'm just gonna show you one thing first, okay? I'm gonna show you a couple of things here, actually. So we're gonna go on manual. Let's do that. Slapped it, land all the debuffs. How I mentioned, having War Master and all that is gonna screw you over because the counter will get decreased. You're not gonna get to use the skills on your champions. I had to change the masteries on every single one of them. No War Master, no Giant Slayer, no Phantom Touch either. So we got the turn meter. My Geomancer is dead meat. Even though we haven't depleted the turn meter by 100%, we still lost all our HP on Geomancer, okay? You see, the turn meter is still on half on the boss. We lost all the HP on Geomancer. This should not be the case. He did gain the 100% turn meter back, but the boss didn't actually lost the 100%. So, we're coming back on Acrisia. We're gonna start with the 8-2. It's no point to go with this because again, we're gonna get that turn meter and we're gonna lose tons of HP on the champion. 140k, 156, and slowly we're gonna go on. Just check the damage that the boss is going to do on us with attack down. You gotta love it. You gotta love it. It's actually awesome stuff. It's super annoying, man. It's super annoying. It's gonna be so freaking hard to do anything on this boss. It's not, the problem is not for me, guys. Like how I mentioned, I can do it. I can teach another 500 people how to do it. 500, how I mentioned, a very positive number. I feel like 200-300 people will be able to farm this stage. And is that really worth it as content? No, I see this as that content. Nobody will give a damn about it. And how I mentioned, I cannot recommend anyone to do this content because in order for it to be costly efficient, you need to farm the very high stages, which will be impossible for the masses. And that's definitely not a great thing, you know? It's just pretty pointless in my opinion to do it. It's very hard to get to make them all on full auto. I'm not saying you cannot make teams on full auto. This is not a perfect team or anything like that. But just as an idea, it's just crazy. I just wanted to show you the damage because we are really getting hammered by the boss, you know. And another thing is that if I'm bringing in different champions, that's kind of like going to change. And I'm going to show you that in just a second. Let's see if we're actually going to be able to beat it or no. Since my revivers actually survived in here, you know. It's no point to attempt to put the sleep on. I should speed tune the team a bit better here because right now I'm going to sleep the boss. But unfortunately, I have no one to deplete the thermometer. And you see, what's going to happen is going to take his turn. Oh, yeah. It's going to take his turn. We cannot debuff the boss right now. I was going to say like, okay, maybe we're going to get that in. Even with increased speed, it's just so extreme, man. It's just so freaking extreme. But there we go. That's kind of like how it goes, you know. That's kind of like how it goes. So let's do that again. Maybe Geomancer is gonna take a turn. No, he's not. Nobody's really gonna take it. I'm actually gonna back out because we're not gonna do it like this. I need to speed on this a bit better if I want to succeed with Sifi in for the sleep. If I'm gonna bring in different champions, so my whole point to it is the next way. Harima. Now Harima will make a massive difference on this boss. Why? Because of her passive. And you're gonna notice once the boss is actually gonna start damaging. Once he's gonna use the Feasting Swarm. You can survive it by using Stalwart. And even like that, you're gonna get hammered. You can survive it by having some ally protection. That champion is gonna die. Strengthen is gonna be a massive buff in here. But is that really going to be enough? It's gonna be pretty hard to actually manage to make a team on it. There we go. Once he's gonna activate the passive. Check the damage. Now with Harima in the team is a totally different thing, you know. You see, my champion survived because of Harima's passive. 50% chance to... It's not a chance, it's a 50% damage reduction on ignore defense skills, you know. So that's actually very, very solid. Very powerful against this boss. But it's just so hard to kind of like make it work on this stage. I'm definitely going to do a guide later on today on this boss. We're going to do stage 25. I'm going to show you the big boy champions that can do it. I'm going to share with you guys the main key things that you need in order to succeed on this boss. I just kind of like wanted to show you how extreme it is and how unprepared Plarium was with this. They just send it out there. They don't give a damn about testing. They don't give a damn about bugs. They're just chucking it out there for all of you guys. So yeah, unfortunately, it is what it is. Let me show you the next thing that is happening too. And that is the start auto climb thing in the Doom Tower. From what I've noticed, is not using multi-battles. Now, I might be wrong on it, but I'm pretty sure I haven't seen this using multi-battles, so you don't have to worry about it. Auto climb, battles completed, you see. And it's gonna take you from stage 1 to stage 9 as an idea. It's not gonna do the boss. And don't forget to show you some of the stats on the champions that we used on this dungeon, right? Because I feel like that's a pretty important thing. So let's have a quick look at the Sifi that we used. This is the Sifi that we used, and we have 70k HP, 3.3k defense, tons of resistance, but that's not really going to be relevant against this boss. The next champion is actually Septimus, Savage and Cruel. Pretty solid stats. The main thing that will matter more is survivability. We're definitely going to hit the cap in terms of damage. There's no need to have this sort of overkill, but I haven't modified my Septimus just for this particular content. Godseeker Oniri, you've seen her in action on stage 11, on stage 25. These are the stats. 75k HP, 3.2k defense, 256 speed. I feel like she's definitely on pretty solid stats, especially for a stage 11 in a dungeon. And it took us 11 minutes. It was pretty hard. We were almost at a point where we were like, okay, we might not make it out of here, you know. The next champions that we used in here was no one else but one of the Geomancers. We used this Geomancer on stage 25. These are the stats that you have on him. Probably a lot of people don't have champions as fast for Arena. So yeah, 276 speed for the new dungeon. Then I used another one. Probably was this one that we used, yes, on stage 21. Almost 50k HP, 2.4k defense, good speed, good accuracy. But yeah, guys, these are the stats on the champions. I do have Acrisia, I do have Harima right here, which is kind of like built a bit different for the boss. Acrisia, tons of speed, 268, good survivability, and it is pretty extreme. How I mentioned, I will be doing a guide later on the dungeon where we're actually gonna go in depth in mechanics. We're gonna go in depth on what champions to use, etc. But that was all for this video. Let me know your thoughts in the comments down below. Appreciate all of you guys watching. Much love, and I'll catch you all soon in the next one. Peace.